This week, an in depth interview with Zendaya for her new film Challengers, a talk with the cast of Them, The Scare, some red carpet footage from South by Southwest, all of this and more on the Cup of Soul show. The story centers on LAPD homicide detective Dawn Reeves, who is assigned to a new case, the gruesome murder of a foster home mother that has left even the most hardened detectives shaken. This is the premise for Them, The Scare. The cast recently sat down to discuss what viewers can be in for this season.
Good, how are you?
Excellent. Girl, you can't catch a break. Just saying, we don't do this. You walked in the house, I would have been like, and then she's like, I want the case. No, sis,
No,
good
let
thing
it
for you.
go.
You know what I mean? But talk about how do you get prepared to be in this space that is, this season too, very dark, very disturbing as well visually.
Yeah.
How do you, leave Nice Deborah and go into this dark world and kind of leave fear behind? Or do you use fear? Because I think fear is like a good thing. It keeps you alive, like as she's going through, especially if she's going through a crime scene that like her heartbeat, she's feeling certain things. It's as if she's feeling the pain of the victims.
Mm-hmm. I think for me, with all my characters, I just try to understand and uncover the truth of all of my characters. So whether it is fear or love or just extreme joy, whatever it is, I just want to feel them. And for me, I just took time with Dawn to just really understand where her head and her heart space is. And it wasn't hard because, she doesn't have an experience that a lot of people can't relate to. A lot of people definitely can relate to, what she's going through and trying to be the best in this industry that is dominated by people who don't look like her and taking on this thing that she's constantly like, what the heck did I just do? But you know what, I'm here now and I want to, but I feel personally drawn to this thing. She's joined law enforcement because she wants to help her community, but the community kind of looks at her like, mate, she might be the enemy. You know what I mean? It's a lot that I think that is on her shoulders that she can relate to. And I just love telling these stories because I love people feeling seen by my work. And yeah, I feel like a lot of people will see the different things that she goes through and feel seen.
Absolutely. The other thing I like is she wants to solve the cases, but she wants to make sure it's done in the right way. She's
Mhm.
not trying to do it for glory. She doesn't want to cut corners, which I think is very important. It's important to get to the truth, but
Mhm.
not at the cost, at the expense of the victims. I'm trying to not give away details.
Mhm.
Talk about that aspect of it.
Because she cares, because I mean, this is her community. Whereas other people are, without giving too much away, are a bit far removed from it. She's not. This is her community. And so it definitely is near and dear to her heart. And so, yeah, it just feels very real for her, um, in ways that we will discover, and for reasons we will discover.
100%. Thank you so much. And congratulations, as always, outstanding work.
Thank you so much.
And you've had a storied career, and talk a little bit what it's like to do something like this. This is very different. Relies upon different type of senses. And how much fun did you have diving into this brand and this type of entertainment?
Well, I had fun after I survived the day of fear and knowing that I have all these issues, surviving the civil rights movement, the women's rights movement, raising my daughter to be a top detective and taking care of her son, my grandson. And now I'm aging, I'm showing wrinkles, girl. I'm showing health issues and showing presenting my vulnerability, which is what little Marvin, who hunted me down, basically required. And I said, do you know that you will pay my therapy bills. Do you know that if you pull this off, you are that good that I'll be exhausted, that I look forward to this challenge. And you presented that you're going to be with me, you're going to catch me. Because the storyline and all the textures and layers that I have is just daunting, not only my health and then the paranormal activities in my own home. Now, that's wrong. I got to deal with a washer that's going to come after me aggressively and try to kill my ass. Come on now. Turn the lights on and lock the damn door when you watch this show, okay? So thank you, little Marvin. And I rose to the occasion gratefully, and it was probably one of the most incredible experiences for our cinema and for our audiences who have supported us and wait for us to bring it. And I think we did.
I would say 1000% you did. I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to speak to me because I think you're amazing. And I love the fact that this is a whole new generation of people that didn't get a chance to grow up with you and didn't get to see you, earlier on in your career, get introduced to you. And hopefully it'll make them go back and see some of your earlier work. But this is cray, but cray in a fun way. And we're all going to be talking about it. We're going to be like this. Everybody's going to be like this, but we can't look away. It's like a fun car wreck. But you did your
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I thought it was just me. Thank you.
No. Because he said lights off. I said, absolutely not. We'll be here in the daylight with brightness. But I'm with you right there.
Yes,
Thank
girl.
you.
And if he levitates us to this height, can you imagine what he's gonna do next?
Woo. I hate to find out, but I'm sure he's going to take us somewhere where we too are going to be sitting there like, I
Hey,
need to know more, but
I
it's
love it.
wrong,
I love
right?
it. Scare me.
Thank you.
Thank you, girl. Thank you for allowing us to come to your platform.
Thank you. Philadelphia Tribune, how are you?
How you doing, Kathy? I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Let's get into this. Ooh, Jesus. As an actor, you know how we feel about things that go bump in the night. But as an actor, it has to be a lot of fun to be in something that is very intense and visually overthink. What are you relying on and what do you use to get in that mindset? Because it is scary. You, as Josh, might be like, peace out, I'm out. But you can't really do this in this. So how do you prepare to be in that intense state of like, really fright and your senses being overloaded?
I think that just me knowing who the character really is and just me using my just resources that I had in my personal life towards the character, it made it a lot easier. And just me researching and looking at other horror series and seeing what I can do to better resonate with Kel. You know what I'm saying? Like those types of things I did to help me better perform Kel for sure.
And how did Deborah help you? She's like a little veteran now, you know what I mean? So how did she help you be like, okay, we're gonna get through this together. And
Yeah.
at the same time, this is how we leave work at work and don't bring it home. So how did she help you?
I love Deborah. Deborah is my girl. Like I love Deborah. Even though that we was a mother and son on the show, we really like brother and sister. But like she really was just telling me, just to make sure that you leave the character behind once you finish, because she did season 1, and that's something that she had to really get with herself. So she just passed on knowledge, and I'm very grateful for that for that. And some other information, including from Pam and Luke, about my career and how to take this even further. And I'm forever grateful for little Marvin. He is amazing. He is amazing, and he made sure my head is on straight. But yeah, I mean Deborah is, man. I can't say enough about Deborah. Like she's amazing at what she does. She is a vet. She is very much so talented, and I was just grateful to be a part of working with her alongside her. We had majority of the scenes together, so our time was really congested with each other. So I was grateful to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out to speak with me. And I can't wait, to the community is going to be like, really? That's what we do?
Yeah,
It's going to be a lot of fun to see how the rest of the world reacts to everything that happens. Because, I was at the house going, yeah, it's a lot. So I appreciate
yeah.
you.
Yeah. I mean, like, I hope people enjoy it. It's gonna be a thing where you need to eat your popcorn and turn the lights off and really have an entertaining night. And wonder what's gonna happen on the next episode. I'm really excited for what people got to say about this. Sure.
Oh, it's going to be a lot, but it's
Yeah,
going to be fun.
yeah, it
Thank
is.
you
Thank you so much.
for you.
Doing, Kathy? How you doing?
Excellent. Listen, I was real for my boy in the audition. I was like, you know what? That's right. We're not all hood. Nothing wrong with being hood, but that ain't all our ministry.
No.
And we've all been in those spaces no matter what. They were like, can you do it blacker? You were like, girl, I am black. And it's coming from somebody that don't look like us. But
Yes,
you can't wild out. And I'm sure you've had that in your profession. So
yes.
so how did you get through the scene? Because the brother's looking at you like, I know this is a mess.
Oh my gosh. You know, I just had to sit in the truth of it all. That experience, like, wow, right? It was really something. In a sense, it was also fun, right? To be on this side of it, on this side doing a hit series, the season 2 of a hit series, and portraying uh, a, a bit green person auditioning for a role that is not him. It doesn't fit him, but he's trying. And I've been there. I've been there. I've done roles. I've tried to audition for something that is just completely outside of me. But you just got to go shoot for it. You never know. Yeah, I felt stupid many times in auditions. It was really fun to portray that.
Talk about being in a show like this. Because
Mm.
it's not like this, it's like you in it. And
Yeah,
when you're in it, and I'm trying to like stay in the middle, it is intense. There's stuff going on where you just like normally you would be like, love everybody, but I gotta go. Let me know how it works out. But how do you mentally, I've asked everyone, how do you mentally get yourself there? Because it is about being uncomfortable and showing your discomfort with everything that's going on. Because we as the audience need to feel what you're feeling in order to empathize, root for you, or be yelling at the TV going like, get out, friend, let it
right,
go,
right.
So how do you prepare?
I think, first and foremost, it's on the page. It's on the page, and it's on the page in that sense. I say our creator has created a safe space for us to flush out the unknown, to go into the dark side of ourselves, to bring life to said characters. Little Marvin is a brilliant creator, but also a lovely man and a lovely collaborator. He it just felt warm. It felt at home, you know. And there's no part about it that I felt like I didn't have an arm around my shoulder as I went down this dark alley. You know what I mean? That's how it feels working on this project and working with him. That's what it was. We knew what we were doing. The fun of it is a horror, yes, but it's also grounded in some realities, but also it's a horror. And it's a brilliant opportunity to just flush out the humanity of all of this and see what happens.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And we gonna pray for our boy to get better at this.
Pray
Thank
for him.
you.
He needs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This week, we also had a chance to interview Zendaya to talk about her new film, Challengers. Here is this interview.
But how you prepared, because this is, I would like to say, I think this is your best performance.
Oh, thank
And
you.
this gives you an opportunity, I felt like, to play a full-fledged adult, because you are a young adult, but you're an adult person. So talk about how you prepare to play this not very likable girl.
um, I don't know. I think my preparation as far as the tennis goes, I just immediately like submerged myself in tennis footage. Like I just watched so many matches, like everything that I could get my hands on, and like woke up, that's what I was watching. In the shower, that's what I was watching. Brushing my teeth, watching tennis, and just trying to become familiar with the sport. So that's kind of how it started. And then, from a character's perspective, I think I initially had a discussion with Luca, and we both really, I feel like we really connected in understanding who this woman was and wanting to make sure that she wasn't just unlikable, and that she wasn't just cold or for the sake of being cold, or cruel for the sake of being cruel, that she had a softness to her and a fragility to her, and kind of trying to sculpt out those things, allowing her to be powerful and unapologetic and cruel, but allowing her also to be sensitive and allowing those kind of cracks to show.
I think what I like with Tashi's also is she does what a lot of women do. And that's, I don't think it's necessarily wrong. You marry the guy that is right for you, the guy that you know you can build a life with. The other guy is a good time. That doesn't mean he's a bad guy, but you're saying to yourself, like, can we buy a house together? What's going to happen when we have children? You know what I mean? Like, we want stability, but sometimes it doesn't come with the fireworks, and I don't want to necessarily say settle, but that's what she saw. And she was like, with him, I can have a little bit of still my tennis life. I can build a life. He's dependable. Talk about that, because it's not always sexy. And I was like, I wonder if people get that she didn't choose him because he's the lesser. She chose him because she knew, she could still have her foot in tennis, but he was also dependable. Whereas the other guy, like, he can't even pay for a hotel room. So how you gonna have him?
Well, he can. He just won't ask his parents for it. No, listen, I think that, we go back and forth about it a lot. I think, was there true love between Tashi and Patrick at some point, and art kind of got in the way and ruined that for them? Would they have been good for each other? Because ultimately, Patrick can match her fire. He's one of the few people that can match her energy and give it back to her. And sometimes that can be good, and sometimes that can be healthy. But, I think they're young and they don't know what they're doing, and so it doesn't manifest that way. But I think for her, there's a loss and a grief of this life and this career that she thought she was going to have, and a desperation to want to be close to it. And ultimately, of course, there's love for art, of course. I mean, you don't have a family with someone and not love them, but it allows for her to be in the proximity of what she loves. I also think that she knows that he's more malleable and will allow her to take the lead and will allow her to vicariously live through him. And that's not always healthy, and within that, she's taking on everything. She becomes the mom almost, and that can't work. It's not sustainable in a marriage. But there is something about Patrick that ignites a fire in her and in art. And she sees that, and she's, is trying to figure out how to use that to her advantage in keeping her life together.
Yeah, and it's also like her and Patrick, though, sometimes when you're too much alike, yes, it's great energy sexually, but it can also be a mess when you're not, right? Because both of you are trying to lead, like you both can, both people can drive.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be the passenger. And I think that's exactly what you said, is he would not necessarily want to be the passenger. His ego is too big. She also is like, the other thing I was like, she never, art was there also for her. Patrick bailed. I think that was a huge part for her too. When she was at her lowest, he walked out.
Yeah.
Like he didn't, and I think in a weird way, she is loyal. She may not be faithful, but she's loyal, and she appreciates that he still gave her that lifeline. But it's like you said, is she also does not process her emotions well, right? It's like,
Mm.
girl, you really need to go to therapy and like deal with the loss of not playing
They all need
tennis.
to go
I'm
to
like,
therapy.
yeah. But I'm like, she as a whole, like she in turn took all that energy that went into her career and she put it into her husband, right? And where she just transferred, and no one is around, and because she is so strong, no one is there. Talk about that aspect, because we do need people in our lives, like good people, and he doesn't have the courage to say it, but somebody needs to be say, hello, time out, girl, you need to check your attitude. And
Yeah.
please go address that in therapy.
Yeah. Well, there's I mean, I also think, to the Patrick's defense of like why he bails on her at her lowest point or whatever. I think he feels guilt because, indirectly he feels like he caused an argument that landed her into this injury, an argument that got her off her game, and I think there's a lot of blame game of like whose fault is it, and then we can go back further and say, well, it was Art because he's the one that spoiled their relationship and said, oh well, he's not thinking about you this way and she's not thinking about you this way, and caused this event to happen that ultimately ended. So, but she doesn't know that, so you can go on and on and on about whose fault it is, but I think he must feel a tremendous amount of guilt. I think that's why later he says, that he misses watching her play, and that he's willing to sacrifice this game because he knows that I think maybe he does love her. Maybe he feels like, he owes her one after what happened when they were younger, that he sees that she has a life and she wants to keep it together, a marriage, a future, a career that she's trying to keep alive, and that he needs to sacrifice something now for her. So there's so many different like ways to look at this, and I think I'm constantly, every time I watch it, I'm like, oh man, that's a new thing, or oh, what about that? And you talk to people and everyone has their own perspective. My mom has a very strong perspective that's completely different from mine, so it's I think that's the fun of a film like this, is the questions just keep coming.
Absolutely. Last, I love what I think also makes your performance so good. I love the physical choices you made. Like, I don't know if you did it subconsciously, you were in the moment, but this was really smart because it summed up like where she's like just also the way you moved in that chair. It's like almost like she was trying to will herself into his body to do the things she felt he needed to do. Like, she couldn't sit still and she's moving, and you can't like yell stuff out in tennis, whereas in other sports you can say certain things. But talk about that, because I thought, man, that is really, really smart, because she so badly wants to be like, pick it up, get your head in the game.
Yeah.
Did you discuss it, or was it just something that you felt at the moment that, hey, this would be something that she would do? Let me go with it.
Well, there's a few different things. I think this was actually written in the script. Like, she looks at him and is kind of like signals to him like, stay focused or get your head in the game, whatever. But those moments in between like honestly, that sequence was so long. Like it was like maybe 2 weeks of just being on that tennis court, and after a while you're like, didn't we shoot the same thing yesterday and the day before? Like you're trying to track where all these characters are at emotionally, and so it's a lot of glances and brief moments. So it's very pieced apart, because what you see is put together, but how we shot it was like shot here, shot there, shot here, shot there. It's like I think we're all also very far away, right? So they're on this court and I'm like separated from them. I think there's something about that too, energetically. But I think it was just kind of finding it as we went, and figuring that out as we go.
Super proud of you. Longtime fan. You were on in my home with Shake It Up with my daughter. And both of you are growing up. She's graduating from college next month. So I'm really just really, really proud of you and everything that you're doing to have women of color, especially Black women, being seen. And I think that is a lot. It commends you and your family, and best of luck to you with this project.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We also had an opportunity to speak with some of the cast of Babes and the cast of Y2K at South by Southwest. Here is that footage.
Do you want me to hold the mic or? Oh, okay. Well, before I even read the script, I've been friends with Alana for almost 20 years, and so anything that she does, I'm a fan of, and I love her sense of humor, her moral compass, her good vibes. And then I read the script, and I was like, oh, this is real as shit. I would like to be a part of something that's real and raunchy and fun and educational. Also talk about you're a girl's girl. You've been in a lot of projects with women.
Mm-hmm.
What is something, are you seeing progress as far as roles for women? Are you feeling we're moving in the right direction? I think the needle is moving in the right direction. Change isn't linear, so it's like 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Or is it 1 step forward, 2 steps? I don't know. I don't remember that Paula Abdul song. But Scat Cat, I'm no Scat Cat. But with the way that culture and rhythm and rhyme is moving and mixing, and with streaming platforms, I feel like we just have more outlets to share stories. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Is that it?
Hi, Kathia?
Yes.
Hi, Kathia.
Talk to me a little.
Do you want me to look at you?
No, that's fine. You talk to me a little bit about the inspiration for this character that you're playing in this movie.
My character Eden and I are similar in that we are free-spirited and we love really intensely. And we differ in that Eden is a little needier and she has not yet found the balance between her intense love and her boundaries, which is something I work very hard to do.
Thank you.
Great.
So that's like my couple film. And then 10 things I hate about you.
And how are you?
My girlfriend showed me that movie and I'm like obsessed with it.
So we definitely got to give a shout out to Philly, because Philly to Philly.
Yes, Mince on
So
Toast,
talk
yes.
a little bit about what is it like? Because Philadelphia is having a moment, tomorrow night we have 4 people from the area that are nominated for awards. So talk a little bit about what it means to you to be from Philly and to see so many talented people doing, just amazing things and working in Hollywood.
Philly is who I am. I've always been proud of being from Philly. I think it's a lot of talented people come from there. I don't know what it is, if it's in the water or in our blood, but I think a lot of very talented and hard work. It's also hard-working people come from Philly, and I feel very lucky to be from there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much and best of luck.
Thank you.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
We got to talk a little bit, as a Latina, what does it mean to you to be getting these opportunities? Because too often in these types of movies, we're not seen, we're not included. So what does it mean to you?
I really believe in the concept of opening the door really means building a revolving door. And as we move forward and gain more power in this industry, we need to hold the door open for the next person, but also just to make sure that the door is ever open to us and that we always have a space in this industry and claim the spaces at the table that we have worked so hard for.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Rachel. Hi. So what is one thing that you learned about Y2K working on this film that you did not know?
Y2K, the concept, like Y2K, the event that happened?
Just about during the time, what people were worried about, scared about.
One thing that I learned that I didn't know is that people were afraid that their microwave would kill them, and I'm hoping that seeing this movie will just make people more scared of that.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you.